Lots of large and mysterious creatures lurking under Lake Michigan, but it's what's washed up on the lakeshore today that's got everyone talking.
Looks like a very old fossil or something, doesn't it?
A 21-foot killer whale was found beached in Flagler County today, something researchers say has never happened in Florida or southeast United States before.
It would even be here is the biggest mystery for me.
Monumental, it really is.
There he is. Oh, he's giant, dude. Oh my gosh. That's a bluefin right there, folks. Bro, he's giant, dude. Oh my gosh.
With the oceans covering most of the Earth, it's common to discover new marine life every day. However, sometimes fishermen catch something so bizarre that it even surprises people who believe they've seen it all.
Unbelievable! Look at that thing! That is a beautiful fish. That is a lovely baby.
Be it a floating carcass or a stranded mystery.
Oh my goodness.
Hang on to be thrilled by the strangest creatures that got caught on camera and shocked everyone.
Absolute monstrous animal this is. Incredible.
The most amazing catch of my entire life.
Gray-white mystery. In 2023, a mysterious creature washed up on the beach in Saint-Aubin, which made the locals confused. The creature was gray-white in color and was clearly in an advanced state of decay. Its body was so decomposed that bones were visible, and it had a long tail and a partially covered skull. It appeared as though the creature had died a long time ago, which made its identification difficult. As people gathered around, they tried to determine what kind of creature it was. The heavy decay, however, made it nearly impossible to recognize. The creature's flesh had mostly rotted away, leaving only a skeletal structure covered in patches of decaying tissue. Was it a known sea animal or something more unusual? Gray whale demise. In the Pacific Ocean, a gray whale was found floating motionless at the surface. Nearby, a few smaller whales swam around it, and some seagulls perched on top of its massive body. From the looks of it, the whale appeared lifeless, with weird-looking fluid visible around its mouth. It was a sad scene because sea creatures were beginning to feed on it. This giant whale, with its mouth wide open, lay still in the water. However, what's weird is the presence of the smaller whales and seagulls, which added to the eerie atmosphere. The whale's immense size made it even more striking. Oregon surprise. On a beach in Oregon, USA, a mysterious creature was discovered. It was huge, about 10 feet long and covered in white hair. The creature had an ice gray color, making it look like it came from Antarctica. It was lying on the beach and just decaying. The hair covered its entire body, making it difficult to identify. Despite its stone-like appearance, it was actually a sea animal. The unusual hair only added to the mystery, as people couldn't easily tell what kind of creature it was. Squid study.
And we have them on the ventral arms. Some will have them on
Fishermen caught an unusual giant squid at the coast of Argentina back in 2021. It was unlike anything they'd ever seen. This enormous squid was orange in color and was still alive when they brought it on board. They handed it over to ocean life researchers for further examination. The scientists administered an injection to make the squid unconscious for a few hours, allowing them to study it without causing harm. Upon closer inspection, they discovered it was an old and rare species of the squid family, known for their large size and poisonous nature. The squid had an enormous head and tentacles. The researchers were fascinated by this rare find and took detailed notes and samples for further study. After completing their research, they allowed the squid to regain consciousness. Once it was fully awake, they released it back into the ocean. Great white on beach.
At around midnight, the two Long Island fishermen brought in a great white shark weighing more than 3,000 pounds.
On an island in the Caribbean, a massive great white shark was found. It weighed around 3,500 pounds and measured about 20 feet long. When people got closer, they realized that it had long, sharp teeth and an open mouth. Sadly, it had reached its demise. People on the beach were astonished by the sight and quickly called the rescue team. The team wrapped a net around the shark and used a machine to lift it. The sight of the great white shark drew quite a crowd, as everyone was eager to get a closer look at this impressive yet tragic ocean giant. How did it reach its demise? Marine biologists arrived shortly after, and their aim was to determine how this happened and to collect valuable scientific data. Huge oarfish reeled. On July 11th, a large crowd gathered in Arica, Chile to witness an enormous oarfish being hauled in by fishermen. Ruben Luis Gonzalez Sanchez captured this amazing footage of the impressive catch. The video shows the huge oarfish hooked at the head and being lifted from the boat onto land by a crane. The boat carrying the fish arrived at Arica's port, and the crowd quickly formed as the crane began lifting the massive sea creature. Local media reported that the fish measured nearly 6 meters in length. This was the biggest catch in at least a decade for this town. Sanchez posted the video on TikTok, where it quickly went viral, amassing nearly 20 million views. I mean, can you believe it? In Japanese folklore, the oarfish is actually considered a bad omen and often associated with tsunamis and earthquakes. Palm Coast whale.
The body of a 3-ton killer whale is now on its way to SeaWorld for research after it was found washed up on the beach in Flagler County.
A man was taking a morning walk at Palm Coast when he noticed a large white object had washed up on the beach. As he got closer, he realized it was an orca whale. And not just any orca, it was a 3-ton killer whale. He immediately called the police and a team of biologists. The police arrived and began questioning the man and other bystanders about how the whale ended up there.
Body turned and I saw white on the bottom, so that's when I took a picture and sent it to the biologist I was talking to.
And if anyone had seen how it reached this fate. Experts quickly determined that it was a mature female orca.
Experts quickly realized it was a mature female orca.
The whale measured 21 feet long and weighed over 6,000 pounds. They carefully tied ropes around the whale and lifted it with the crane. The biologists then transported the whale to the SeaWorld Research Center to investigate it. This event drew a lot of attention, even from the media. Fisherman's giant manta. In Peru, a group of fishermen made an incredible discovery: a massive manta ray. Working in the northwest of the country, these men found the huge creature, which local media reported weighs just over a ton. It had swam into their fishing net while they were trolling for fish in a homemade wooden boat. The enormous manta ray measured 26 feet long and was discovered in the Loch Rove Cave. Fisherman Eric Crew explained that the manta ray was so large they couldn't load it onto their boat. "We pulled at it, we picked it up, and it became so entangled that we couldn't get it out," he said. They tied the manta ray to the side of the boat and brought it back. In ancient Peru, manta rays were often depicted in art and feared for their size, with sailors believing they could eat fish and sink boats. This one definitely looks like it could sink even a giant boat. But fortunately, these creatures are typically very calm. Giant swordfish. In North Carolina, an enormous swordfish was discovered. It measured almost 10 feet in length and was so heavy that a pulley was needed to hang it up. The sword on its face was exceptionally long and sharp, making it a fascinating sight. The fish, gray in color, hung lifelessly. The two people who caught it were elated with their catch, proudly touching its impressive sword. The scene attracted a lot of curiosity, as the swordfish was truly massive. It had a sleek gray body and formidable sword on its face. The fishers shared their excitement with everyone around, recounting the effort it took to reel in such a giant. They'd never encountered a swordfish of that size before, and their sense of accomplishment was evident. It quickly became the talk of the town, and people gathered around to see that astounding fish. Stone grouper. In March 2016, at Mayaro, Trinidad, a group of fishermen made an incredible catch. They hauled an enormous grouper fish, olive brown in color, with a brown tail. This fish was a true giant, measuring about 9 feet in length. It was so heavy that even 6 people couldn't lift it. Yeah, you heard that right. The fishermen tried to move the massive fish, but they just couldn't pick it up. They had to use a rope to drag it along the beach. Despite their efforts, they still couldn't lift the fish, so they called for a truck. They tied the grouper to the truck with the rope and managed to drag it. Pacific octopus caught.
A fishing trip on Vancouver Island turned into the experience of a lifetime after a rare encounter with an octopus.
While fishing in the ocean, some fishermen threw a trap into the water to catch fish. After a while, when they pulled the trap out, it felt much heavier than usual. To their surprise, they found a giant Pacific octopus wrapped around it instead of fish. It was about 7 feet long. The octopus was red and clung tightly to the trap, refusing to let go. It had wrapped its tentacles around the trap, and its head was tucked underneath. It seemed determined to hold on, as if it wanted to come out of the water with the trap. The fishermen were amazed by the sight. They had never encountered anything like it before. The octopus's grip was so strong that they struggled to remove it from the trap.
You're kidding! That is so huge!
Rare 6-foot ragfish. A rare 6-foot-long female ragfish was recently discovered on the shore of Glacier Bay National Park in Gustavus, Alaska, on the morning of January 7th back in 2020. This was actually the second sighting of a beached ragfish in the area since July, according to the park's Facebook post. Ragfish are mostly cartilaginous, with flesh similar to squid. They're believed to live at depths near 4,000 feet, so little is known about their ecology. Limited data suggests they mainly eat squid, octopus, and jellyfish. Interestingly, both ragfish found were pregnant when they washed ashore. Is something down there targeting specifically pregnant ragfish? Strange substance. Some fishermen were traveling in Indonesia when something strange suddenly attached itself to their boat. It looked like foam, but it was solid, with a yellow-white color. Their boat got stuck in this strange substance. One of the fishermen took out his knife and started cutting the foam, carefully placing the pieces into the boat. It seemed like he intended to use this material somehow. As he cut through the foam, the fisherman examined it closely, trying to figure out what it was. The texture was unusual, not quite like anything they'd seen before. Karachi harbor shark. A 36-foot-long whale shark created quite a buzz at Karachi Harbor in Pakistan. This massive creature, weighing 7,000 kilos, was found semi-conscious by a passing fishing trawler. The enormous fish required 2 cranes to lift its carcass from the water. A lot of curious locals gathered to witness the epic sight as excited fishermen hauled the whale shark ashore. The spectacle drew a large crowd, all eager to catch a glimpse of this incredible sea giant. After treating it, the creature was put back in the water where it belonged. Hammerhead shark controversy.
Local fishermen landed a massive great hammerhead shark over the weekend.
A local fisherman named Puku Sturgeon recently caught a 14-foot great hammerhead shark weighing over 1,000 pounds. This massive catch quickly went viral on social media, stirring controversy. Sturgeon, who has been shark fishing for over 20 years now, said this shark was a catch of a lifetime. As the shark neared the shore, it started showing signs of weakness. Sturgeon and his crew quickly took a few pictures, measured it, and tried to return it to the water. But unfortunately, the shark didn't survive. Sturgeon faced criticism on social media, with some accusing him and his crew of causing the shark's demise. Sturgeon defended their actions, explaining that serious shark fishers are dedicated to conservation. They catch, tag, and release sharks for research purposes. Despite the negative comments, Sturgeon remains proud of his catch. The crew donated over 400 pounds of shark meat to the Good Samaritan Rescue Mission.
There is another positive from this story. Sturgeon and his crew were able to harvest over 400 pounds of meat from the shark, and they donated that to the Good Samaritan Rescue Mission. Lee and Priscilla?
Giant pirarucu. A massive pirarucu fish measuring 2 meters and 90 centimeters in length and weighing 220 kilograms was recently captured in Manaus. The fact that this catch happened in a region managed by about 20 families who rely on pirarucu fishing makes it quite fascinating. The whole village must have feasted that night. While pirarucu is a common catch, this is the first time such a large specimen had been caught in the area. The fish is stored in a freezer in the west zone of Manaus. The fisherman donated its viscera to the Secretariat of Rural Production of Amazonas. This catch highlights the importance of sustainable fishing practices. Squall caught and released. A 3-meter-long squall was recently trapped in the net of a fishing boat off the coast of Caponero between San Remo and Ospedaletti. This is one specifically fascinating catch because a squall this big had not been seen before in a long time, and it surprised even the fishermen who got it. Those fishermen quickly released the animal back into the sea. This isn't the first time a squall of this size has been spotted or caught in the waters around Liguria, though. One possible reason for the increase in their presence near the peninsula is the warming of the ocean. As temperatures rise, these creatures may be venturing closer to shore more frequently. The sighting highlights the changing dynamics in marine life due to climate change. Megalodon theory lives on. For years, the theory that the massive Megalodon shark is still alive has excited enthusiasts worldwide. Many believe this giant sea creature might be lurking in the ocean's depths, which are largely unexplored. With only 5% of the ocean mapped, the possibility of discovering unknown or thought to be extinct creatures like the Megalodon remains exciting. A recent video claims to show the Brazilian Coast Guard assisting someone in the middle of the ocean when a massive shark swims by in the background. The shark appears to be over 60 feet long, with markings similar to a great white. This footage aired on the Discovery Channel, which adds to the credibility and sparks excitement among believers. Could this be the proof that the legendary Megalodon still exists? The video has certainly reignited the debate. Giant shark. At a seaport in Ghana, fishermen caught a massive haul of fish. Among their catch was a huge black shark. They decided to keep the shark for scientists to examine. The fishermen were amazed by the sheer size of the creature. It was an unexpected addition to their usual catch. The scientists were also intrigued, as it provided a rare opportunity to study such a large specimen up close. Once the examination was complete, the scientists ensured the shark was healthy and then released it back into its natural habitat. The terrifying Pixy Tramboli. A fisherman recently caught a Pixy Tramboli, also known as anglerfish, and brought it onto his boat, only to discover how truly scary this deep-sea creature was. Its mouth, lined with very sharp teeth, remained open, ready to snap at anything that came close. When the man threw something in front of it, the fish quickly devoured it. This fish is known for its unique feature, a glowing light antenna on its head, which illuminates the water at night. As the fisherman watched the fish in his boat, he couldn't help but feel a mix of amazement and caution. With its menacing teeth and glowing antenna, the Pixy Tramboli is clearly no ordinary catch. Tragic shark incident. In India, a group of people caught an enormous shark, so massive they needed a pulley to lift it. As they began hoisting the shark, the pulley snapped under its immense weight. The shark fell onto the people below. What's crazy is that this incident tragically caused the demise of 2 people. When the shark fell, its tail also broke off and tumbled down. This incident shows the dangers of handling such giant sea creatures and the sheer power and weight of the shark. The shock and tragedy of the event left everyone in awe of the giant shark they had caught. Mysterious mutant fish. This is one of the most surprising catches we've seen in recent years. It's a fish with a human-like face and a unique two-toned face. This mutant fish, unlike anything seen before, has caught the attention of both locals and scientists. A team of biologists quickly moved in to measure its vital signs, take photographs, and collect DNA samples. They expressed concern about this unusual creature and speculated on its origins. Local residents were amazed by the fish's strange, deliberate movements and distinct shape. The discovery has sparked curiosity and further investigation into the mysterious life lurking beneath the water. Giant bull shark.
Good evening. The Perth fisherman who reeled in a giant bull shark.
A Perth fisherman, Kai Boyle, recently caught a giant bull shark near the site of a fatal attack on teenager Stella Berry. Boyle, who's an experienced fisherman, caught the 3-meter bull shark in East Fremantle, less than 2 kilometers away. The intense struggle to reel in the shark took an hour and a half. After removing the hook and taking a photo, Boyle released the shark back into the water. Despite backlash, Boyle emphasized his opposition to harming sharks and highlighted the need for better monitoring and tagging of sharks in the river. Boyle believes the shark numbers in the Swan River are rising. His catch and release method has sparked controversy, but fishery officials have confirmed he did nothing wrong. Epic sturgeon.
Maybe a kilometer with him, and he's just fighting us hard.
Steve Eklund and Mark Boise had an unforgettable first-time sturgeon fishing experience on the Upper Fraser River in Lillooet. After an hour of struggle and 7 dramatic jumps by their catch, the duo faced a monumental battle. Their prize? A sturgeon estimated to be 10 feet long and weighing 700 pounds. Several times, the massive fish breached the water, reminding them of a scene from Jaws.
The sheer size and magnitude, in slow motion when Jaws comes out of the water.
After an exhausting 2 hours, they finally reeled it in, taking some quick photos to prove their incredible catch. River Monster Adventures believes this might be the largest sturgeon ever caught in the area, estimating it to be over 100 years old. The fish was tagged and then released. Blue Marlin surprise. In the Atlantic Ocean, a group of fishermen set out to catch an Atlantic blue marlin. They searched for hours and eventually caught one. When they finally hooked the blue marlin, they realized just how massive it was. 4 people on the boat had to work together to pull it in, as it was incredibly heavy and large. The blue marlin wasn't just big, but also impressive with its long, sharp mouth. Largest catfish ever caught. Catfish are known for their impressive sizes, and the Mekong giant catfish is a prime example. These enormous fish are found in the Mekong River, but sadly, due to overfishing, they're now critically endangered. On January 18, 2019, a local fisherman made an incredible catch. A Mekong giant catfish measuring over 9 feet in length and weighing a crazy 650 pounds. Experts who verified the catch suggested that this might not only be the largest catfish ever caught, but potentially the largest freshwater fish ever recorded. This catch shows the immense size these creatures can reach, even as their numbers go down. But that doesn't mean we make them go extinct. Yuk surprise. In February 2021, a group of fishermen in Yemen found a whale carcass floating in the Gulf of Aden. Inside, they discovered 280 pounds of ambergris. Now, if you're not aware, this is a rare substance which is used in perfumes, and it's worth over $1.5 million. Ambergris, also known as floating gold, forms in the intestines of sperm whales. The sale of this ambergris lifted the fishermen and their community out of poverty. They shared the money equally, allowing many to buy homes and get married, while also helping other villagers. Yemen, which is plagued by civil war, left 80% of its population hungry. So this discovery was life-changing for the entire town. Massive bluefin tuna. On a boat out in the Pacific, a guy lowered his fishing line into the water and hooked it up to the pulley. As soon as he did, that pulley started to move, signaling that they'd caught something. As the man started reeling it in, he was in for a surprise of a big catch. It turned out to be a bluefin tuna, known for its impressive size. This bluefin tuna was not only huge, but also stunning with its beautiful blue color. 550-pound stingray. A fisherman has captured a huge stingray weighing 550 pounds after an epic 2-hour battle on the river. Andres Wilchen, who started fishing at age 5, said he used an eel on a shark hook to bait the monster manta ray. The 42-year-old, who lives in the town of Oliveros, Santa Fe Province, Argentina, claimed that the stingray weighed around 551 pounds. It's believed he caught the huge fish as the full moon shone on the calm waters of the Paraná River, which runs through South America at around 9 p.m. on 8th of February. Kuga Sturgeon. A routine day turned into an unforgettable experience for a fisherman from Higan City, Heilongjiang Province, back in 2020. He netted a rare Kuga sturgeon weighing nearly 270 kilograms. The catch, which was already pretty amazing for its size and rarity, became even more memorable when he sold it the next day for 60,000 yuan, which is approximately $10,000. Just imagine the happiness that fisherman felt. King Crab Feast. In 2022, Alaskan fishermen hauled in a staggering 4.5 million pounds of king crab, which were valued at $43 million. Can you imagine how huge the pile must have been? This impressive catch reflects the demand for king crab's tender meat, especially its long legs. The process of catching these crabs involves using specialized boats equipped with crab pots, or traps, designed to target king crabs while minimizing bycatch. These pots, baited with fish, are deployed on the ocean floor where king crabs are in abundance. Once aboard, the crabs are sorted by size, sex, and quality. Undersized or prohibited crabs are released back into the sea. They are packaged for distribution to restaurants and markets, making sure consumers receive high-quality king crab. Biggest tarpon. A group of fishermen recently caught what might be the biggest tarpon ever recorded in the Atlantic Ocean. The excitement began when they spotted the monstrous fish and realized its immense size out on the water. "Oh my God, that's so big!" one of them exclaimed. As they struggled to reel it in, the fish's sheer power became evident. It was pulling and tugging so hard, it almost seemed like it would get free. But the fishermen showcased their confidence and determination. When they finally brought the tarpon to the boat, its size left them in awe. One of them noted that it was over 200 pounds. The whole group celebrated their incredible catch. Strange fish. On a beach in San Francisco, a strange creature washed up that confused everyone. It was a fish that looked like it belonged to some ancient species. Are you aware that there are species that are hundreds and millions of years old? It appeared to have survived for years, but had finally met its end. The fish lay there lifeless on the sand. It seemed to be covered in blood, with more of it coming from its mouth. It seemed like it had eaten something harmful, which ultimately led to this fate. The fish was pretty large, but with small fins. Its size and unusual appearance made it stand out, and people were curious about its origins. Shark Feast. Some people were fishing when they noticed a very strange sight far out in the ocean. A whale was floating on the surface, and sharks were feasting on it. A great white shark had started biting the whale's tail, tearing into it eagerly. Sea animals were turning the whale into their meal. Even seagulls were invited to the party. They were perched on the whale, pecking at its flesh alongside the sharks. Seeing the great white shark and seagulls feeding on the whale was both a strange and fascinating event for the beachgoers, showing how nature makes sure nothing goes to waste. The whale had become an essential source of food for various sea animals. Thousands of squids. At a beach in Chile, thousands of squids were found washed up on the shore. With every wave, more squids appeared. It was very strange, as no one knew where these thousands of deep-sea dwellers were coming from. They were medium in size and piled up on top of each other, decaying and increasing in number. The smell from the decaying squids was just terrible, and people were very upset. They had to use cranes to remove the bodies from the beach. The bad smell worried the locals, especially parents concerned about their children getting sick.
Dios no quiere que haya enfermedad para los niños por el olor. Se pone pesar la cosa aquí en la isla Santa María.
Goliath Grouper. While out on a fishing trip, two friends had an incredible encounter at the Pacific Ocean. They caught a massive Goliath Grouper that weighed more than their boat. This giant weighed between 600 to 700 pounds and had a golden brown color with a brown fin and tail. It was just huge, with a large mouth that made it look even more dangerous. The adventure began when they hooked a huge snook, which in turn attracted the Goliath Grouper. The monstrous grouper took the bait and immediately started towing the boat. After a challenging struggle, they finally managed to bring the giant fish to the surface. They carefully removed the hook from its mouth and released the Goliath Grouper back into the ocean. Tragic Marlin.
12-foot marlin. It was no easy task, taking nearly 4 hours to wrangle the fish.
Back in 2021, a woman participating in a fishing tournament in Hawaiian waters made an extraordinary catch by reeling in a 12-foot marlin. The impressive feat took nearly 4 hours of relentless effort to bring the massive fish onto the boat. The record-setting marlin weighed over 1,000 pounds. Unfortunately, that marlin couldn't survive on the fishing line. It was later sold at the market and is likely to be made into marlin jerky. A subscriber's pick. An unknown sea creature was spotted in the Persian Gulf, which caused significant intrigue among the local fishermen. At first, the creature appeared to be an alligator, but such reptiles are not native to that region. This mysterious discovery perplexed the fishermen, who were unsure of what they had encountered. Although the story circulated in various media outlets months ago, it remained a mystery until a researcher stumbled upon it on Reddit. Upon analysis, the researcher concluded that the creature was, in fact, the carcass of a giant squid.